You've talked a lot about the fourth line being the identity line, what you want to utilize and how you want to deploy them, but is it a different element knowing that you have 50 goals combined for those three guys and you can kind of use them in a different way than maybe I'm using?
Yeah, that helps. I mean, any mismatch in the playoffs that is in your favor is a good thing. And I think our fourth line has outscored theirs. I think that's just a reality of it. Doesn't mean that'll transpire, but that's a nice thing to know. That I think it's more, Danny, when you're putting them out there against top lines, the other line knows that, hey, we can't just do what we want because they can't score. They have the ability to transition and put one in the net. I think that's an important thing when you're looking at matchups. You can't just throw three guys out there that never score, because I think the other team will take all kinds of chances knowing that. So there's a respect factor, and that's what makes, to me, the checking lines good, is they can counterpunch, so to speak. So we have that advantage. I don't know every fourth line in the league, but I got to believe ours is up for even strength goals. Has to be, as constructed yesterday. If not the top one, it's got to be up there. And that's, like I said, a good thing to know. And especially if they're out there playing 12 to 14 minutes, right? They're going to get their turn on the ice. It's, yeah, you got to be physical, accountable, check well, but you can bring offense. And I think that's, as I said, an advantage and something that we expect. And they can, because they can do it.
Mm. Bruce, too, for you, to piggyback off that, I know we've touched on this leading up to the playoffs, but now that you have a game under your belt in the playoffs, postseason mode, the depth, does it remind you, was there anything last night similar in being able to roll four lines confidently against any one of theirs, your depth in general?
Yeah, it's been that way this is the third playoff. And I will go back, we had a few more injuries last year, different pieces moving around in and out. It was a little more Carrier, Colasar, Watt 2 years ago, and I think Will had 18 goals, right, or something like that, 16. So, and Nick had his goals. I think Coley was maybe a little lighter than this year, but they were very effective for us. So we wanted the same thing last year, and I'm certainly not saying anything about our fourth line. We just didn't quite get over the hump to get going and get on that roll where your fourth line can wear teams down. So that's something we hope we can do going forward this year. So it starts with game one. We got that under our belt. Game two, hopefully more of the same. I think last night, talking about the minutes, right? If Jackson doesn't have to play 22 minutes every night for us to win, that's going to keep him fresher as we go along here, and give us, I think, good opportunity to have better matchup situations.
Is there something to be said for you and your staff since you've gotten here in back-to-back games against the exact same team, or in game two only, a playoff series? You're 8-2 overall.
So what the hell are we thinking the other two games? That's what I'm thinking.
Especially one was a playoff game, so be wary. But is it something that you do you see that you found a knack for doing?
Well, one of the things I enjoy about coaching, especially this time of year, is the chess matches, so to speak, right after a game. Okay, what do we see? What did we see going in that changed? For example, early in the game against us earlier this year, Minnesota's D did not pinch very often on any breakouts. Last night, the first period, they were up on our winger. So right away, we're like, hey, guys, disregard what we talked about for half an hour 2 days ago. They're coming. So, which is okay. I mean, we deal with that all year. So this isn't like some foreign concept, but it's like not what we game plan for. So, hey, you're going to have to counter pinch their D, battle up higher, deal with the D as opposed to their high forward during the season who was tracking you from laterally as opposed to D coming right on you. So how you position yourself to receive a puck around the boards, you got to get back into sort of playing against pinch mode. So, these are things we'll be able to do and adjust. But I guess getting, to your question, so I enjoy days like today where we look at the game from yesterday and see things that maybe you didn't see in real time. And, okay, this is a couple things we need to do without overloading your group. Because if you all of a sudden say, hey, here's 10 things we need to do, they're going to look at you like, we just won. Like, what are you doing now, changing everything? So it's not about that. It's little tweaks here and there that maybe some face-off plays. Eck was very good in the circle. They run a lot of face-off plays. So It's okay, what are we going to do to counter that? If we do win one, counter their aggressiveness, what they want, whatever. Little things like that that sometimes can give you a little bit of an edge here or there. So I don't know, or that, or just our players respond well. It's usually the case with anything these stats. It usually means you have good players.
It didn't end up mattering the last goal because you won either way, but I'm curious because of how rare that situation was. Were you on the bench still when you found out it was 4-2, or had you already had?
I was high-fiving Rogie in the office. I thought it was a 3-2 ending. So good for us. They added another one. So now I'm like, well, they're going to drop the puck with 0.1 seconds left, and do I need to be in the building if they do that? Or so you're right. It was odd. I had no idea. I saw the green light go at the other end, so I thought it was too late. Listen, it's irrelevant. It's good for Howie stats, good for our power play stats. Other than that, no one's going to remember it after. But yeah, it's a good question.
You guys blocked 25 shots last night. Is that something? Was that a plan going in? You wanted to really make sure you're getting in the way of shots?
It always is for us. I think our guys take a lot of pride in that. There are special team situations where we do, position ourselves so we're taking away parts of the net, so our goalie can take care of other parts of it on certain situations. But yeah, we want to block shots whenever we can. Sometimes to a fault, it means you lose your gap a little bit, but I'll take that competitiveness any day and just keep working on our gap control to kill plays earlier if we can.
Bruce, you guys had a 2-1 lead after two, but when you look back at the game, did you think maybe the lead could have been, Jack's going to break away, Saad hit the crossbar, that maybe it could have been a little bit more than that?
I thought we had an opportunity this second to extend the lead with good looks. Not a lot of looks. I didn't think either team generated a lot in the second period for what is typically the most action period because of the long line change at times. You can get your rush game going a little better when they catch teams in between. So, but yes, Jack was in, Saad. I don't know if there was, I'm trying to think, Stoney had a great play from Jack. That's actually a great play by Jack. It hit with a high stick right in the visor, and to be able to sort of, regain his composure and make that play was a hell of a play. And so, yeah, those are three really good looks that, yes, we could have extended. At the other end, Rossi had a great chance too, right? So they had a couple, but his, I think, came after ours. So, yes, there was an opportunity, but we didn't take advantage of it.
Outside of their D being a little bit more aggressive than maybe you thought, was there anything else that jumped out at you that you thought, that's different than what we saw for 3 games?
No, neutral zone play was the same. They pretty much try to go around you, hit their posted winger and either chip it in or bump it to speed, whatever's available. O-zone, 97 likes to roll around and look, with Eck at the net, and Boldy's kind of freed up to find space. So they'll go low to high a lot with their other lines. So, and get it to the net, try to outnumber you, outstick you. Nope, they reload above the puck well. They don't want to give you odd man rushes on by waiting below the goal line, hoping they get a puck back. So, no, I thought they were pretty predictable. They'd probably say the same about us, I'm guessing. I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I thought it was a pretty predictable game on how both teams want to play. They're always going to change a few things to generate a little bit more against two structured defensive teams, but that's how I saw it.
Last couple of periods about
adjustments is something we hear about all the time. And like for you, do you take a couple notes during the game or after, like that process for you? How does it start? And just kind of take us through how you make an adjustment.
Well, it starts in the live. I mean, the first shift of the game, Brodeen's down pinching Barbashev, I think, or second shift, whatever it was. Same with, might have been against Olofsson too. So right away, it's like, okay, they've changed their tactics in terms of how they played us during the season. Different personnel was available to them, whatever. So that and timeouts, you write some of that stuff down. Try to go down to the coaches at each end, say, hey, careful of this. We got to create the battle higher, tell the forwards. Johnny, it's like, well, they're taking away the walls. So the D should be thinking about more misdirection plays. The rim won't be there. And that's it. They and then it's between periods on the board once. But I guess I would say I'd prefer to not wait to between periods. We can get it done at a timeout, sort of get that messaging out. That's how I look at it. And then it could change the next period, right? But that's what we do. And it's not 10 things, Gary. You can't be for the players. It's usually maybe one thing in each zone, if that, right? Okay, neutral zone, they were fairly passive 1-2-2, so let's go. Let's attack that first guy and at least get the red. From there, if nothing's open, it's in behind them, we start our forecheck. So those are the things you look for. Maybe an area, something with the puck in each zone. Or it could be something away from the puck. Maybe our forecheck, our second guy's late on the neutral zone a lot. On the D-to-D, we're passive, waiting at our blue line. That happens to us. Sometimes we're at the red line, we don't have our legs. So it's like, come on, guys, like second guy jump. And we know that going in against Minnesota, that's important to us because they like to go D-to-D. So let's put a little pressure on them. So some of them are made even ahead of time, but a lot of them, in the moment, try to get your message across when you have their attention, which is hard in the middle of the action, right? They're recovering from a shift, so it's timeouts and between periods.
What about game over game? Like when you drive home last night, where there maybe a few things bouncing around in your head, and then after you watch the game a couple more times?
So today we had the D in for a couple of things. Pace, right? A couple examples where we moved our feet a little quicker. We got some opportunities off the rush. We did, and we slowed the game down. It was tougher. It was forecheck. It didn't hurt us, but we only got a forecheck out of it. Let's give ourselves both. So, but then it's individual. Today, the coaches with the players. Tomorrow, we'll revisit our review of what we feel the 3 or 4 things we did well and what we need to adjust. Because today I thought, okay, they've been here 3 days. There's been a lot of, for game one, there's a lot of, whatever, anxiety, preparation, you're excited. Now that game one's behind us, get out of the rink today, go enjoy the day, spend time with your kids, cleanse the hockey mind, and tomorrow let's start thinking about Minnesota again. So I don't think you can think about a team, 24 hours a day as a player. Coaches do because, we're always thinking of stuff, but I think players need a break.
Last two, Dominic and Nick.
Hey, Bruce in the back. So you mentioned now that empty net goal from Brett Howden was good for his stats, but just looking at its whole piece of work this year, career year, and then he comes into game one, round one, scores 2 goals. What have you seen from Brett since you've come to Vegas to grow as a player and grow his game?
I've seen a guy really gain confidence on the offensive side of the puck and earn the right to play in those situations. When I got here, he didn't have those numbers, so you wonder, is it in him or not? I don't know. Then you watch him play. He got hurt, I think, the first year I was here, his foot, and extended for a while. So it took a while to see that come through. And I really noticed it in the playoffs when we put him up with Stevenson and Mark Stone. He was able to complement them and finish some plays, go into the net. He knew what he had to do to score. Get inside, go to the net, be the greasy guy, so to speak, because the other guys are passers. So I think it built some confidence in his game that year, the cup run. So last year there was like, okay, maybe there's a little more room for that. We'll move him up in the lineup as a winger with some skills, centerman, as opposed to maybe just a 4th line role, and it's grown from there. This year was, we've talked about this a lot, it was a summer of, okay, who can take steps if when we lose people that have scored in this league? And he was one of those guys we thought, okay, if we move him up, there's that potential, and he's fulfilled it. We didn't know what the number would be, but it's better than it was, and hopefully it keeps going that way. He's got a terrific shot, and that's one thing Howie always had. He could rip the puck. I thought he was off net a little bit too much his first year, trying to make a perfect shot. Whereas as hard as it is, it's more like, try to not be perfect with it. Get it on net because it's moving, right? So he's done a better job with that, is hitting the net.
After the game, Pietrangelo and Saad were talking about how great it was to return to that playoff hockey atmosphere. So from a coach's perspective, how did you notice the energy in the building being notched up by 10 levels, and how did the team feed off that energy?
Well, they always feed off it, but it's always loud here, even in the regular season. Obviously, the playoffs is going to be, another level. So I think our guys are excited about that. So that's part of the anticipation of coming to the rink and knowing that's going to be there. Never can tell how the other team's going to be. Sometimes they'll feed off it too. Sometimes it'll sort of disrupt their ability to communicate or whatnot. So, but we're looking at it from our perspective. So I think it's great here. Every person that I've come to a game that from out of town always tells me what a great experience it is here, and it's a show, right, along with the game. So it helps when we win by winning hockey. But glad they're behind us.